Okay, I just finished doing a really funny video for the playlist of the Funny Day with Pedro Cristobal show that I'm doing. But this video is serious stuff. This is not funny, this is interesting and thought-provoking and also useful. So in this one, I think I'm gonna put this in the playlist of advice, and it may also fit in the philosophy playlist perhaps. So in this video I'm going to answer what is the most important decision that we make in our lives. How can we recognize it, that decision is the most important one? So we're gonna see. Usually, the younger we are, the more it seems, the more we think that the most important decision that we make in our life is the career that we pick. Especially what you go to college for, which is something that takes a long time. It takes years of your life to prepare for that, to learn about that, and to do all that. It's a big time investment. So we think that that is the most important decision. Obviously, it is an important decision. If you marry who you marry, that is obviously very, very, very important. There are other big decisions that we may do, we may have to do during our life. We may have to make those decisions, and they are also very important. But how can we know for sure which one of those is the most important one, or at the very least, which of those decisions are easily and by far the most important ones? So I thought a lot about this one day, sat down and thought about it, and I realized that there's one thing that we need to look at, and that one thing tells us single-handedly what decisions are the most important. It may not tell you which is the most important one for you, but it does tell all of us what decisions are the most important ones. I came to the conclusion that the most important decisions are not always the biggest ones, but they are the ones that cannot be changed or that cannot be fixed if it didn't work out, no matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do, you cannot take time back, you cannot change that, you cannot fix it, you cannot take a different path, you just cannot do it. And when we look at it through that lens, in that perspective, we realize that there are many big decisions and things that we thought that they will be the most important ones in our whole life, but they can be changed. It may be a lot of trouble, it may take a long time, it may be a huge deal to change that decision, but if it can be changed, in my opinion, it is not one of the most important decisions that you will make. An example. The career that you choose. You graduate from whichever major you picked, and you begin in one path, and then you probably realize that you didn't like it, or it didn't fit with your personality, or whatever it was. Which was something that happened to me, by the way. And obviously, changing that is going to take a while. Especially if you want to change it to something that is not another branch of that same category. Because if it is another branch of the same category, you just look for that job and hope that you can end up there with the credentials that you already have. And then you continue from there. But if it is a very different branch, it will take much more work, much more time, and more everything. It's going to be difficult. But it can be changed. It can be done. It is not impossible. It can be done. So it is a decision that, although it is very important, if you think about it, if it can be changed completely and reversed, then it is not as bad if you didn't get that right from the first time as other decisions that if you don't get them right from the first time, you're in a very bad position. And it may be for the rest of not for the rest of your life. I don't want to be so harsh, but it's gonna be for a very, very long time. It's gonna make a difference in your life, big difference. One of those decisions, and this is not hard to realize, one of those decisions is who you have children with. A son, a daughter. If you have a son or a daughter with someone, this other person, it doesn't matter if they're good, it doesn't matter if they're bad, it doesn't matter if they are so-so, they will be for life the mother of this girl or boy. It's not just going to be you. You know, if you're a woman, then this other person will be the father. If this person is a bunch of trouble, you just marry that trouble almost for the rest of your life, because it's I mean, unless it is something really, really bad that you can even get like restriction orders and all that, you know, get police involved, you're gonna have that person in your life, whether you like it or not, because the child is also their child. This ends up being a huge decision that changes life, for worse or for the better. Because if it is a great person, you're gonna have a connection with that great person for the rest of your life, because you have a child together. And this great person, obviously, like all good people, all people who are in that category, will be a good parent. I mean, even if you two are not together, this person will still be a good parent. That's the way it is. If it is a terrible person, this person will be a terrible person for life, not likely to change. So you're gonna have that in your life. I'm pretty sure that's going to affect many people more than the career they picked, that they can change if they work for it. You know, like if you work for it 1 year, maybe a little bit more, maybe more, depending on what you want to change it for. But it can be changed, and you can leave the other stuff behind, and you can go on. But this kind of decision, it cannot be changed. It cannot be changed. Especially the kids part. You know, nowadays, especially nowadays, that people just, you know, marry and divorce. And nowadays, if there are no kids involved, the change can be made. But you know what? Make a good decision from the start. You know, get a nice girlfriend. So it's not someone that you have to end up, you know, badly at the end or anything like that. It's someone that if you keep going further with that person, if you marry, if you have children or something like that, it's not going to screw you over, because she is a good person. You know what? You should watch my video on the 3 things that you have to look for to, you know, to realize if a person is capable of long-lasting, genuine love with you. Check out that video, because I talk a lot about that in that video. But right now we're talking about the important decisions. There are other decisions that can end up being extremely important, just like who you pick to have kids with, but there are other types of decisions. If you think about it, it's always the decisions that cannot be changed no matter what you do in the rest of your life. It's always those, the ones that mark you and give you a much better life, or mark you and give you a much worse life, more difficult. I think that a really good example for this is the people that become presidents. The people that become presidents, you cannot take a step back. Now, after you're president for the rest of your life. Yes, a former president, but still a president of. In my case, I live in the United States, president of the United States, for example. But this is for any country. This is the kind of decision that you cannot change, ever. Ever. Like after you go through that and you become that person and you take that title stays for you for life. If it was a great decision, well, you just made your life much better. If it ends up being a decision that wasn't that good for you, it's too bad. You cannot go back. You have to deal with it for life from now on. And that is why I respect the people that put themselves in those shoes when it is not the best decision. And when they know it, I think it's worthy of admiration and respect, to be honest. And but there are more. There are more. It may depend on you, because for some people there are decisions that they can change later, but for others maybe these decisions cannot be changed. Like if they go to another country and the other country that they go to doesn't end up being as great for them as they thought that it was going to be, that is one of those decisions that marks you, and maybe they cannot change it. Maybe they have to stay in a new country because they don't have the chance to make any more changes about that decision, and that changes then their life. If they have children, it changes their children's life. It changes everything for the better, if it is a much better place for real, or for the worse, if it is a worse place and they have to stay there for a very long time. So think about it. Think about it. When you have to make a new decision for your life, when you have to make an important decision, think about it and always realize if it is something that cannot be changed no matter what. If it cannot be changed no matter what, you better give more thought than just jumping on it, being bold and jumping on it because you're such a badass, such a man. Well, it's too bad. You better think about it. You better think about it, because if it is one of the ones that you cannot change and you make the wrong choice, I'm not gonna say you're gonna regret it, because you know what, even if you regret it, too bad, you cannot change it now. But you have to be aware of the consequences, and you have to be ready for them. That's also why it is so important that when you make one of those big choices, especially the ones that you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know if it's going to be good for you in the long term or bad for you in the long term. It's one of those decisions that you just don't know. It's like when you begin going out with a new person, dating a new person, very much open to enter in a new relationship, a new love connection, and you don't know anything about that person. It's like playing with the dice, basically. Unless you're a good psychologist, like I think I can be sometimes. In that case, you have a better view of who's gonna end up good and who's gonna end up bad, but you still don't know for sure 100%. So you need to know the person better. You need to make sure that you raise your chances of making sure that the big decision that cannot be changed is a good one. And if you do that a lot, you end up having a better life, a much better life, not just for yourself, it could also be for your children. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I think. So, let's give a final answer to the question. It's clear that my answer for which are the most important decisions is they are the ones that you cannot change later on after you go through it and make that choice, take that decision. They are the ones that you cannot change. But which ends up being the most important one? I think that we cannot answer that when we're young, but we can answer it like much later at the end of life when you're old. The most important decision that we make in our life ends up being the one among those decisions that could not be changed that made the biggest impact in our life. From the decisions that you could never change again after you took them, which was the one that made the biggest impact in your life? Obviously, if it was good and ended up being good, it made your life much better. If it was bad and you couldn't change it and continue being bad, it made your life much worse, but you had to deal with it. You didn't have any other choice because you could not change it after it was done. But whatever the case, that is the most important decision that we make in our lives. The one among the ones that we cannot change that ends up having the biggest impact for us. So, I'm not saying that the career that you pick, the place, let's say you relocate, like I did not too long ago. You relocate to live in a new place. Let's say the place that you pick to relocate. All those decisions, I'm not saying they are not important. They are very important. They will make a huge difference. You should think about it, and you should, do your research. Make sure that you pick right. But those decisions, they can be changed. It's not something that you can't go back. There's no way. There's a way to go back in those and make some changes. Not for everyone, no. If there's a person that that someone that has like whole family to take care of financially, and they want to change careers, they probably can't. But if it is someone like me, like single guy, young guy, you still have the options to make some changes. So it is not one of those killer decisions that you cannot change, and if you do the wrong one, you're in the bad spot. Too bad for you. So that's it. That's it for my answer to what is the most important decision that we make in our lives. I hope you find this useful, and I hope that this will make you think about your decisions before you make them, especially about the ones that you know that you won't be able to change after you make them. So think about it and be sure that you raise your chances of getting the right deal for you, of getting the deal that you want. So good luck making those good decisions. I wish you all the best. I hope you learned something with me. If you want to get more advice, check out any other video I have here on the advice playlist. If you want interesting stuff, check out the philosophy related playlist. And if you want to laugh with me, this was serious stuff. This is serious stuff. If you want to laugh, you can go to the A Funny Day with Pedro Cristobal playlist. I hope you learned. So that's it for today.